Hello there. It's me. Thank you for tuning in and thank you for the support. Yeah, it's an update on the job. One thing to think about when you do transfer, it would be kind of similar. You do lose your seniority in the post office, I'm talking about. Um, when you resign and you get rehired, of course, you lose your seniority. And I think in both cases, you're a probationary person. That's something to think about. Um, like when you want to move. I think a swap is even harder. Um, Finding someone to swap, depending on where you're gonna be. I mean, what odds would it have been? Well, I think you have to be a full-time regular to do a swap, anyways. So yeah, imagine if someone was in where I live, California, wanted to swap to North Adams, because that'd be amazing. That's something to think about. What was at the top of my head here? It'll come back to me. So yeah, that's a risk. I'm a probationary person, but I like the anxiety. But at the same token, it's risky. And yeah, I got there the first day, did a couple walk-in pieces, and the supervisor there was, "Hey, you crushed it, awesome." He's on vacation, and now I'm dealing with another supervisor on my second day, and that guy, Jesus. Oh, man. Second day on the job, he asked me in the morning, and I have an added walk-in piece, and another thing to do, right, that I'm going to come back for. And he's like, "When do you think you're going to be done?" And I'm like, "I don't know, 2:30. And sure enough, I did get, my progress was faster the second day. And on the third day, I was even faster. Okay, so I've been getting faster each time. So here it is, 3:15. I got both the other pieces, and I was just having this final piece. And, I've never been yelled at like that before in the post office. Or actually, any job, to be honest with you, in my life. So, well, I worked in Nebraska, and, I worked for a good family out there. They were good people. They are good people. Famous for being really pissed off, yelling. But that's an exception. It's kind of humorous, though. They'd be like, "Oh, yeah, I'm on heart medication." It's like, well, it's good that you have heart medication, but you got to try to be calm. And maybe they think, "Well, I'm on heart medication. It's cool. I can start flipping out still." You know what I mean? But that's the side humor. If you're on heart medication, I'm not a doctor. You need to try to practice calmness too. Not just like, "Oh, I got the pill. Now I'm okay." But yeah, never been talked to like that before. He's like, "You told me you were going to get done at 2:30, and I'm relying you to get back here to do it." You're like flipping out. I'm like, "Holy crap, man." I did good. I didn't flip back out on him. I told him, "I'm not messing around out here. New to the area." And I told him later that day, it's like, "You got to bear with me. I'm new to the area. You know? It's happened before. I never was in North Adams. I didn't know the area at all. And, I don't know the area specific, okay? I have delivered in Irvine, but it's a pretty big city. And that part, I didn't know. And it's been years. So, it's not like I really know the area. I really don't, other than the big streets. So, yeah, I've done it before. I've learned an area. You just got to let people learn, dude. So, yesterday, I'm even going faster now. Well, actually, geez, this was a thing. Like, in Massachusetts, because we did it this way, but I was now at this apartment complex that I never knew before. I didn't have the code. So now I'm trying to get in. And he's like, gotta be back by 6:30. Okay, be back by 7. All right. So I didn't get it done because they didn't set up that piece for me. It's all random. I mean, tubs. And, so I'm doing the best I can. I don't know where the cluster boxes are. I don't know the numbers. So, okay, it's 10 of 7. I'm like, okay, I better get back to the office. Because in Massachusetts, they're like, when they say be back by X amount of time, you got to be back by X amount of time. So I'm like, well, crap. And I had asked about, like, do you run parcels if you run out of time? They said, no, they're both important. Okay. So I scanned all the packages attempted, business closed. And I got back for 7. So, I'm not feeling good about it. It's been ages since I had to bring stuff back to the office. So here it is the next morning. And I'm getting pulled aside. Why did you bring stuff back? I'm like, well, I had stuff back. You said be back by 7. Well, I didn't mean you'd be back by 7. I wanted you to be done by 7. Well, semantics here, right? I mean, where I'm from, be back by X amount of time. You've got to be back by X amount of time, okay? I apologized. So, yeah, crazy. And he tells me I'm going to get fired. Walked out the door. If that ever happens again. So, I'm like, well, I mean, what can you do, man? Where I'm from a different office. That's the way we do it. Even in Pittsfield, they would do it that way. So, I mean, it's just a different set. He's trying to tell me that I guess the route person for that route is a steward, a union guy, and probably, I guess, there. I guess they can file a grievance over that, I guess. It's not that way to where I come from, So this day, I do everything. Okay, back by 6. Got it back faster. And yesterday I got called in and did the route even faster. I was smooth, actually. I flew right through it. Now I know all the loops, and so I'm doing good, right? And now he's on the phone. I need to take a piss. I need to fill the gas tank. And he's like, do you have to get gas? I told him, yeah, I'm almost empty, and plus I need to go to the bathroom. Well, I need you to help. I need you to help me out with another working thing there. And it's like, yeah, I'll do it, man. But I gotta get gas, and I gotta piss. And it was over like a piece. I said I had a piece left. I did. But I guess it's not a piece. Well, it's not really big enough to be a pivot. And he wanted to get a guesstimation of time when I was going to be done. And I told him, I'm like, I don't really want to guess. Because, I don't know the area yet. I don't know how long that's going to take. I've never been there before. And inside my mind, I didn't tell him this. Well, he flipped his wig on me over being wrong about being done at 2:30. So, I mean, I'm like, not going to step into that again. So I'm like, yeah, and he's like, 30 minutes. It turned out to be, I went there, pretty big area. It takes a long time to drive to these areas, all the traffic. And I followed a vehicle in, which saved me some time. I don't know the code. Well, now I do. I handed a package to somebody, and I got the code. That could have killed some time. So it turned out that apartment setup wasn't that bad. You had a cluster box, and then another cluster box all the way down and in. Perfect. That's easy. Okay? Not too hard. I'll do it again. Boom. And I did get it done before 30 minutes. So I'm pretty upset, pretty pissed off, having thin skin about this. And, was he trying to tell me I can't take a piss break? So, yeah, I'm freaking being nervous the last couple days. The day before, he called me in the afternoon talking about how they're going to have to call me in because there's an HR form. Now I'm like, damn. Because I've seen a CCA get taken off the schedule and then get separated. Well, it's the same thing, right? Being fired, separated, getting walked out the building, fired. They have all these different terms for the same thing. So I'm like, damn. I'm like, what the heck? Am I getting fired or something? You know what I mean? What the fuck? So yeah, it's just my mind. Different supervisors, different vibes. The first guy, he's like, "You're doing good." He texted me, "You're gonna fit right in. You're gonna do great here." This guy, Jesus, this guy came up to me because he killed my time the other day. It was his fault. He removed the key from the freaking arrow key. So now I can't open up the cluster boxes. So that made me lose an hour. You know what I mean? And he wanted to observe me fingering the mail. I did good. I didn't get defensive over that. I hid my anger about that. Because I'm like, what the fuck, man? No one's ever questioned my ability to finger the damn mail. Needing to watch how I finger the frickin' mail, dude. I'm like, man, dude, this guy is fucking too much, man. I'm like, dude, anybody can finger the mail. What the hell? He had to watch me finger the mail. Jesus. I just I'm bonkers with this guy. It just goes to show, like, a distraction that is. Being a probationary period person again. Now I'm pissed off because I'm being freaking treated unprofessionally by this bozo. Who was yelling at me over the phone, dude. Which, I might just not answer the phone. I'll force you to text me or speak through the freaking scanner. Because I think that's what some of these bozos do. They want to... he wanted me to call him every hour to check in to see how I was doing. And you got rims on your computer. It's their program. It tells you where I'm at. And I told him that. I'm like, I thought that you guys had rims that would show you what my idle times are. And he said, yeah, we do. Okay. I didn't argue with him, but I'm like, I'm ready each time I get to a mailbox. The mail's fingered already. And then I'm on to the next. That's 1 to 2 seconds max that I'm at each. At this neighborhood, it's all garage door slots, which is a little bit slower. And so therefore, I know I'm not messing around. That's the thing. And when I'm parked, now that I know the loops, I'm walking the loops. 3 of them. I carry all 3 of them. And I'm out walking by 15 seconds, probably. So I'm like, damn. It's just, mind fuckery, this guy. Trying to keep my composure, trying to keep my composure with this guy. It's hard when you're paranoid, being threatened to be walked out the building already. You're new, telling you timelines when you're new. Just, you gotta freaking let the person learn the area, man. I did text him. I told him, I have 2 years experience. Post office knows what I've done. It's, I know how to finger the mail. I was new to that area and I learned it. Just gotta let people learn the area, man. You're that soon quick to the office and he's on your shit like that. It's fucking nuts, man. It's just, how can you not get pissed? How can you not be paranoid and anxious? Because now you're fearing that I'm going to get fired, I'm going to lose the job, be embarrassed. It's like, what the fuck? So the first supervisor was awesome. He's on vacation. Hopefully I don't know, man. Yeah, hopefully he's coming back. I heard one person say that this person's a temporary supervisor. So, yeah, that'll be good if yeah, I don't know, man. But, yeah, the first guy, that goes to show, I mean, when it comes to how to be a manager, you know what I mean? You can help people succeed, or you can be a douchebag. It's your choice. Creating that kind of anxiety and anger is a distraction. When you're supposed to be out there operating safely, especially it's a whole different type of roadway, and you're driving a crappy mail truck that runs like crap and can't pick up speed. And it's 3-lane highway city type streets that you don't know the area to, really. So there's a lot of awareness to that. You got to be safe. You can't be preoccupied in your mind, feeling all types of different feelings, because that's when you get into an accident. You know what I mean? It's like creating an unsafe atmosphere. And of course, when you're angry on top of that, when predominantly I'm just pissed off, you know, I'm feeling disrespected. But I didn't retaliate. You know, did good. When I said I wasn't messing around out there, I might have had a raised tone, but it wasn't intentional. It was just a response. So I guess that's another thing too, is if you're pissed off, if you work for the post office or any job, and you're angry and you're getting calls, probably the best thing to do is just not answer and then use an alibi like, hey, I couldn't get to my phone, I was driving. And then when you're calm, then pick up the phone. I think that's a good way to handle that. Because, yeah, it's a tricky situation. You have a right to stand up for yourself, but you do so. Now you could be walked out the building for disrespecting the supervisor. You know what I mean? And I don't want that on my record. I can deal with being separated, because then I have the 2 years. I just won't list them as my past supervisor. I'll use the other supervisors in Massachusetts. I mean, it won't be the end of the world. And then it would be an easy alibi, just to say, hey, I moved to another area, which wouldn't be a lie, and it didn't work out, you know what I mean? But yeah, getting fired for, like, yelling at the supervisor and having them find that out, it's a little harder to explain. And I know I'm not a thief, I'm not doing violence, and I show up, so I'm not going to have to eat crap for that. So yeah, that's just a mind screw, trying to filter that out. That crap. Stupid way to manage people when you have no common sense, to think that the person's new and he's gonna know exactly when he's gonna be done. I mean, how do you respect someone like that? You know, you don't give respect, you don't get respect. When you're that much of a dumbass, you don't deserve it. Yeah. Treat people with respect. I respect you. A person that gets mad, if I know I deserve to be, I'll respect it. But if you're just a bozo from the start like that, I'm not going to respect your feelings. You don't deserve it. So I'm not going to play the old resign rule yet. I'm going to give it some time. But if I get the real feelings down the road, and yeah, that's probably what I would do, is just resign. maybe reapply, perhaps. I did get an offer in Long Beach. So maybe I can play that game if I have to. I mean, it's not... I'm consistently getting faster each time. His freaking bozo mentality, isn't justified. I mean, I got 2 years. I've driven 110 miles a day for over a year for the job. I've demonstrated that I learn an area and that I can do the job. I've demonstrated it for 2 years. So, pardon me if you think you need to watch me finger the mail, because you don't think I can do that. I mean, that's just craziness. But just try to focus on what you need to do. I focus on the job. That's the way to do it, is when you're at a job and you have some BS. Just focus on the activity and focus to please yourself. And then try to ignore the rest. Because at the end of the day, that's what I care about. Is that I am doing a good job. And that's what makes me happy. I'm not trying to please that guy. I'm just trying to avoid the conflict. Trying to avoid that. Trying to avoid the situation where I will talk back and yell back at him. So therefore, when I'm angry, don't answer the phone. I send a text, Otherwise, what's the use? It was a bizarre situation I've never experienced. I mean, I've been hassled about speed before when I was new. I've been hassled about not delivering enough packages, and yet I'm doing 30 an hour, and I have the boss on my case, and I'd be mad because I know damn well I'm doing good. This guy's just being a bozo, but not like that. That was crazy. I was just taken aback. I was like, man, what the hell is he flipping out so hard for? And then he's just like, yeah, man, it's just nuts. It's just crazy. So that's one thing that is good. I don't have to worry about having to bring stuff back, because I would have stayed out later and finished it. I would have. I just was going on him saying, be back by 7, and that's what they would say in Massachusetts, and that means be back by 7. So I didn't, that's the way I took it. So I guess now I learned that, and if it's in the future and I'm not done, I'll just stay out and finish it, and then at least pick the lesser evil. So, it's crazy, but that's the drama so far, so soon. But most of the houses are numbered. It's easier to find the mailboxes. They're mail slots. That I appreciate so much more. It's easier in that regard. However, the mail load is a lot heavier. In North Adams, 4 trays is a heavy day. An average day here is 5 trays. Because that day that he freaking couldn't contain himself, I did 5 trays of DPS and 4 trays of flats in the packages. And I was done by 4:15, and I think I hit the street. I was on location by 10:45, probably, I think 11. So, that was a pretty good time being new and having that much, because I never really did. I've never had a day other than doing a piece when I did a double route where I had 5 trays. 5 trays. That's hefty. So, being that new, I was like, dang, man, I'm not doing too bad. I'm improving. You know what I mean? But I guess that's an average day. I guess a heavy day's 8 trays here. So that's, as I told him, I texted, I do that, kind of cover my ass. so I can have a paper trail of what I'm saying. Of course, see, that's another thing too. I think supervisor, he doesn't have a response, and it's because that's the reason why they want to talk to you on the phone, on your personal phone. It's so they can yell at you and not get caught. They wouldn't want to talk to you that way across the scanner or on instant messenger. So they play that game. You know what I mean? My opinion, this is a personal phone. If I'm going to have to use this phone during work, then it should be prorated. The hours that I work should be prorated to the bill for the phone. If it's a work phone, I can't deduct it on my taxes, right? So therefore, I'd be a big advocate of only speaking on the scanner. Because then it would save a lot from the bogus harassment of having to stop and listen and have to have a verbal conversation every hour with the guy. You know what I mean? Having to deal with that while you're working. It's a distraction. It creates an unsafe environment because you're more apt to get into an accident when you're being antagonized about how slow you are, when actually you're not even that slow, which then I'm feeling like I'm being accused. You know, I'm out there working and you're accusing me of not putting in effort. That pisses me off, you know? So, yeah. That would be something I'd push. Like no verbal, no personal phone use within clock time. The only time you can call on the personal phone is to call somebody in. If you're on the clock, you speak via the scanner. That would be the most epic rule. It would solve the harassment problem. And then you could go out there and just put in your honest effort and try to get it done and not have to be concerned with that crap. You know what I mean? And it would just be such a better experience than having to be a target of that crap where you're thin-skinned and yet here you are having to deal with that. I mean, if I wasn't thin-skinned, then it wouldn't be a big deal. That's the thing. It's really harsh to deal with when you are a defensive person and you're thin-skinned and you got to deal with this. And I'm like, man, maybe I got to resign before I frickin' go nuts on this guy. So I don't get myself in trouble, because I'm getting angry. I'm getting pissed off. But, yeah, just gotta not answer the phone and claim safety, driving. I'm not gonna, I don't answer the phone anyway when I'm driving. But that's what I'll use as an excuse. Hey, I can't get to the phone right now, After all, when you're on the phone, you're not working. So yeah, that's the drama. I'm gonna come up with like a guru book of how to handle crap when you're a thin-skinned person. It's like you don't win when you have thin skin. You'd never win, right? Yeah, you gotta be calm. You gotta be cool, man. Yeah, that's man, that's craziness. But it'll work out. I'm gonna stick it out the best I can, man. Not every supervisor is the same. You got to deal with some douchebags. It's just the way it is, man. I said a couple times, it's like you just got to let a person learn the area. That's all. Let them get some reps in. I got 2 years of experience, averaging probably 70 hours a week, every single week. I've gone often up to 3 weeks without a day off. You know what I mean? I've demonstrated that. So I didn't say this, but I could give a crap about your analysis on my second day, your first day seeing me, and your third and your fourth, dude. Especially when objectively, if you look, I've gotten faster each time. Objectively. If you look at the clock and my time, I've gotten faster significantly each and every day. Some people just can't handle their job. They can't handle having authority. And they just frickin' nutcases. Just like being stupid, man. It's just, how else can you explain it? Just to be a douchebag, you know? There's no other excuse for it, you know? I mean, but it's not me doing the behavior. I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm just going to not answer the phone. Let him talk through the scanner. You know? I'm not going to, when I'm just going to assume that he's just going to do that, I'm not going to deal with him, you know? And if I get in trouble, I'll just say, hey, I'm driving. I can't answer the phone right now. Or my phone's not with me, it's in the truck. Which is typically what I like to do. I like to leave my phone in the truck. I don't usually keep it with me anyways. So, I mean, I rarely get the call. I'm not on my phone when I'm working. That's just the truth. As I told him on the text message, I'm not out there stopping, and you know, the technology should let you know that. And it does tell him that, and he knows that, which is probably another reason why I'm knowing he's playing these games, because he's looking at this RIMS program on the computer. He knows exactly I'm not messing around. And he needs to call and ask. I mean, that's just loco. So, yeah. I'm not gonna let the paranoia set in. I'm not gonna worry about it. The other supervisor seems to be a decent guy. Be a kind of guy I would want to work for, you know. And I would take criticism from a guy that is respectful and professional like that. You know, then when you're pissed, I understand, and I'm sorry you're pissed, because you're not just a douchebag anyways. You know what I mean? That's part of how you take criticism from people who are respectful. You know, someone who's just out of line from the get-go and is acting stupid, you're not going to take criticism from a guy like that. It's different. You know, it's a different way to take somebody. I'd take a yelling to when I deserve it from somebody I respect, not from someone who's just can't handle it and being a lunatic. But I'm 49 years old. I have never been violent on the workforce. So, and I've dealt with crap. Being thin-skinned, I left a lot of jobs. So I'm working through that. I'm not going to do that now because of my age. Well, on the happy point, well, no, on the positive, I'll lose the job. It helps out the bankruptcy case a little bit better. So turn it into a win, right? But I don't think it's going to happen because, you know, I was worried like that before I passed probation. I do the job. I haven't had anybody bitch and moan yet at me. Haven't been making any mistakes other than that. So I'm doing okay. It's a little different. At North Adams, we could have stuff in the front of the truck. Here we can't. We have to operate out the back. So there's differences, and I'm getting adjusted to that. It's different. This area, though, there's not a single ghetto in this whole city. I'm in Irvine. That's what makes it such an odd city. It's such a huge city, but there's not a bad area in the entire city. For real. There's not a bad ghetto part, or there's no gang parts anywhere. If you want to become a police officer and probably have a nice, coasty career, Irvine. I'm not saying no crime happens there, but trust me, that place is legitimate. Like, I mean, there's one guy that laughed his ass off because he has a pit bull coming up to the gate. And I was worried it was going to maybe jump over the gate, so he saw me run out. He was laughing his ass off. I'm like, it's not really funny, dude. But, you know, even with dogs, they're not out on the yard. It is a pretty kick place to be. It's a huge place, that's for sure. There's 80 routes here. It's big. But it's a cake place in the regards of the walking terrain. I mean, walking. It's not going to be any snow ever. I mean, you have to drink a lot of water, though. I have one of them Zeus mugs. And I definitely drink all of those 3 liters that I have in that. 3 liters. And then I'm running out by the time I'm done. I span it out. I wouldn't want to have less than that because you do get thirsty. It's nice and dry, and I like dry heat. But if you don't have water, I mean, you're going to be in trouble. I guess it's that way anywhere, but it's different here. The color of my urine isn't brown or nothing, but it's darker yellow than it ever is, and I can feel the dryness. So, yeah, got to be on top of the game on hydration in this area more so. In North Adams, I could get away with walking the whole shift without water and be okay. I wouldn't do that here with the heat and the dryness. That would be probably pretty dangerous. You'd get messed up. Because I'm drinking 3 liters and I feel freaking like I need water. And I span it out pretty good. So you got to keep on your toes here about hydration, that's for sure. Zeus mug. Worthwhile. I almost contemplated getting another Zeus mug one day. Be in the back of the truck out of sight in a piss so I can freaking avoid the fucking dipshit. But the first supervisor, he told me after I was done, he's like, you're crushing it out there. Take your lunch break, So yeah, the other supervisor, he's a decent guy. He's not the douchebag fucking trying to tell you can't take a piss. That freaking pissed me off, dude. I texted him. I told him, it's like, I know that comfort breaks are not counted against your regular breaks. And I told him, I don't care about stopping, and I don't stop, and I don't really give a crap about my breaks, but if I need to go to the bathroom, you know what I mean? I'm going to go. I'm not going to be pissing in the back of the truck because I'm fucking not wanting to deal with the crap from the boss, you know what I mean? It's kind of a pet peeve when they want to play that game. Some of these, try to pressure you that way where you're not taking your breaks because you want to avoid the bull crap from the boss, you know what I mean? And then they'll be like, no, we're not telling them you can't take the break. Well, yeah, you are. Hey, don't play that game, you know what I mean? You are. You're applying psychological tactics to pressure somebody like that when you know he's working, and now you're going to try to say you're not telling him, implying that he can't take his break. You're full of crap, dude. Don't be a liar like that, dude. Be an honest human being. Be a decent human being. Don't be a piece of shit. I give a job my all, or I give you nothing. That's just me. I give it all or nothing. Maybe that's the reason why I've left a lot of jobs when I'm angry. If I wasn't like that, I'd probably, I'd be slacking, calling out sick all the time, and just fucking doing that. But I want to please myself, I want to please myself. So that's what's important. And then you can still work and put in good effort despite dealing with a crazy person, because they're everywhere. Doesn't matter where you go, you're always going to deal with crap, no matter what. It's there. As long as you're not doing it, and as long as you don't do anything stupid, then who cares? If you do something stupid, yeah, it's understandable, but then you have to deal with it because I did something stupid. So that would be my responsibility if I do something stupid in retaliation to that. It'd be my responsibility. So I'm a smarter person. I'm not like that. That's the reason why I don't have a violent record, I'm an avoidant of conflict. I'm an avoider of conflict, for real. I just don't like being in a drama like that. I'll do whatever I can to avoid it. I kind of like a snake. Not that I'm snaky. I don't rat people out, but I'll try to avoid you if possible. You corner me eventually if I feel I can't escape. I'm not gonna get violent with you, but yeah, again, self-awareness of, avoiding things that you know you're gonna get in trouble. Like yelling at the boss, knowing that's gonna get you fired. And you're pretty mad, and you now feel an emotion from what you're listening to. And some people are really good at controlling that, I'm not really good at handling being talked to that way. It's always been a problem for me. But I've gotten skillful at avoiding that. That's half the battle. If you know something's really dicey for you, don't put yourself in the position. So that's my spiel. That's my video. Yeah, I guess I'm not shit talking the job. It's a good job. The coworkers are nice there. Really, I've been to one post office branch that seemed kind of cold and snobbish. I won't say where. They liked me though. Would have been awesome. It would have been a 10-minute commute to work every day. Imagine that. That would have been a good location to be in. But everywhere else, the coworkers are pretty cool at the post office. If I could say really what makes the post office really a good job is the exercise and the rapport that you can get in the community. But really, of all jobs, the coworkers, man, are really good. It really is. I have to say, in Pittsfield, I liked the people that I interacted with there. North Adams, if it wasn't for me liking the people there, I probably wouldn't have been working there that long, dealing with the crap that I had dealt with. So, and the people here so far seem pretty cool too. So, yeah, that's something that really, I think, is an attraction for the post office. This management seems to not all. It's just, it kind of like cops. Not all cops are assholes. Most of the cops that are out there on the force are good people. But it's always the small percentage that fuck it up for everybody that make up the difference. And that's the sad thing. It's the few that are screwing things up that really can make a bad difference in the field. And I think it's that same way with supervisors at the post office. A lot of them are decent people, but it's always these few dipshit douchebags that really can kind of like fuck it up. And I think really help cause the attrition of the workforce and people not wanting to stick with it. Because who wants to be freaking constantly accused of not working and being basically harassed? You know what I mean? Who wants to deal with that crap, man? I'm working. What do you think I'm doing? You can see it on the computer screen. Let me work, man. I'm trying to get it done. You know what I mean? So, yeah, a big problem in the post office, I have to say, is management, man. The way that they manage people is just not the way to do it. It's a stupid way to do it. And I think it's just because they can't handle being a boss. They can't handle having authority. They can't handle it. Like some people can't handle doing their drugs. Some people can't handle their alcohol. Some people just can't handle their authority. That's the truth. They can't handle it. They're not humble enough. And they just don't have any empathy, and they're fucking full of shit. They're douchebags. You know what I mean? The only thing that matters is but you don't become one, then it don't matter. So outside of that, I'm going to stick through it. And one day at a time, I'm going to show up and do the best I can. It's a big freaking city. It's a lot to learn. The town I come from, yeah, I knew the whole office. And it didn't take me forever to learn it all because there was only like 12 routes. So it's a little easier learning that. Now here is 80 routes and they're pretty big. So it's a good area to learn. I'll learn it. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you.